All right. Hi, we're trying again. Voices.
Hello?
So let's give it a test. Testing, testing, one, two, three.
Oh
And
my
we're
God, Kenny,
alive.
you really need to change what you say when we're testing.
It's working, guys. All right.
Oh, thanks, flux capacitors. I have a pickle.
Woo!
We'd like to thank our longtime listeners for their continued patience with our literally ineffable tech problems. I assure you, I've been working on this for so long, I think that I might be developing a mental disorder. And for those of you who are only watching us on YouTube and wonder why we do this bit at the start of every single show, it's because you're missing the 2 minute show that comes before this, where we go on and nothing works.
It is truly ineffable that how the technical issues have persisted through every single fix applied at the same time.
At this point, it's tradition, right?
All right. Well, let's get into the show.
So welcome again to Geist the Sin Eater second edition, Second Chances. So today is the 22nd of November, 2023, a Wednesday. Uh, let's go over what we all did in our downtime. Who wants to go first?
I can. I should also probably need to. One sec, sorry. Trying to get
Alrighty.
there. So day one, we had three days of time. So day one, I actually worked with Ethan to create a map of the tunnel system from the pit. We did see a bunch of it, but not like into the tunnels. So, um, we created the map of the pit and its spoke-like tunnels as much as we could. Because he didn't explore them, we can't be certain whether they're straight or curved or if they meander. But the one thing that's certain is that there's a network of tunnels underneath the entirety of Purgatory Junction. Um, Day two, I tried something a little unorthodox. Well, probably actually a little more orthodox than we normally would. And I took paint remover down to the Danse Macabre to see if it would ruin the artwork at all. Um, Spoilers, nothing happened.
Worth, listen, worth a shot.
Let's hope it's spoilers at least. And day three, I decided to look and see if there were any other Avernian gates closer to the school. And we did find one that is closed up in the old gym. So that was me.
All right. So day one, uh, we we created a map like uh like they were saying there. Um, Day two, I took it a little further and created an app to correlate, equivalence between the um the living world and the underworld and whatnot, and was able to do a pretty dang good job of that, although it's still kind of a work in progress. Need to implement a offline mode, so it's actually somewhat useful. Um, and then on day three, um, I spent some more time with Old Man Houlihan, although he continues to be confused why this scrawny little kid is hanging out with him.
Alrighty. And last up,
Well, that'd be me, I suppose. Anyways, so the first thing is that I started off by leading our usual rituals. Had dumb supper with everybody who's part of the crew, uh, and also Granny Heartstopper. Uh, then I headed over to the museum and got some help from Mr. Ripley making a family tree for the Kimballs and started organizing what we know about them as far as back as we can go. Um, I'm going to give the Cliff's notes here as quickly as I can on that one. Uh, Basically, we got right now Todd Kimball, who's the current manager of the newly opened Kimball's Big Box Store, and also the guy who killed Meathead, and also just kind of a huge dick. Um, he's got Gaspar Kimball as his brother, I think.
Cousin.
Cousin, my apologies. His cousin, Gaspar Kimball. Preceding them, we have Graham Kimball, who's the current mayor of Whispering Peaks. He's the owner of the Kimball's Big Box Store, and he used to run Kimball Agricultural Inc. before selling it to Cotton. Before that, we had Ambrose Kimball, who nearly died in the. Ambrose Kimball, he was the former mayor of Whispering Peaks. He's the pastor of the Chosen Mammon. He's this really creepy old guy that we really don't like. And before that, we had Ambrose Kimball Sr., who nearly died in the Hollywood gassings, which we all got to witness a couple sessions back. Um, and his brother, Timothy Kimball, who was the sheriff at the time and died during the Hollywood gassings. And their father, Midas Kimball, who founded the Farmer Kimball's grocery store in town in 1904, which became Kimball Agricultural Inc., which is how that family got wealthy and was mayor for 35 years. That's all we know so far, but we do know that it was mentioned that Midas's father set the farm on the right path. And that's all we know about him, so I need to do some more research. But this is what I got so far. And if you want to see that in more detail, it's available in our Discord. All of our downtime actions are actually available a few days in advance if you're curious what we're up to. Next, I had a hockey game. I play hockey sometimes, and my team at the Y had a hockey game. And we shut them out. We did a great job. And last but not least, I went and checked in on the ghost crops going on in the underworld. They're starting to grow in pretty well. And while I was down there, I picked up some new positive memories for Moneybags, so he stops wandering around with 5 really bad conditions on him at all times. I traded the contents of 2 bags from Dairy Queen for him.
Hooray! So,
last but not
go on.
least, Kenny has decided to give the crew a little more ability to operate during the week, and they had their own downtime action. They helped us figure out about D of D's Nuts. No, seriously, that's the name of the company. Also, she's a necromancer, and used dark magic on me last time I ran into her while she was wandering the underworld. So, Deanne Palmer is a 70-year-old woman. She runs a candy store called D's Nuts. It used to be Deanne's Nuts and Confections, but after local kids started calling her store D's Nuts, she took a liking to it, rebranded. It was apparently from her father, Otto Foster. And the store is famous for its old family recipes, and the family has had weird rumors following them for over a century. So I get to figure out who the fucking Fosters are, because apparently they're goddamn necromancers. That's 3 goddamn family trees I'm collating. What the hell is this game?
We're gonna have to start getting a was it Pepe Silva style board
One of
going.
these days, you guys are gonna walk in here, and these little curtains are going to be replaced with like a cork board covered in little index cards and a red string. And I gotta tell you, it's probably gonna help.
Honestly, I think we should look into recruiting a genealogist for the crew so they can do all this shit.
We did get a historian. I'm working on it.
Unfortunately, NPCs can't do the IRL corkboard because they're fictional.
That doesn't stop me.
Anyways, so with that in mind, we're heading into the next session.
Alrighty. So it's Wednesday, the 22nd of November, 2023. What are you guys doing today?
Well, when last we saw our heroes, we had just had an awkward run-in with a certain incredibly rich billionaire by the name of Delilah Cotton, who was at the moment reasonably distressed about the fact that the only person that she'd made friends with was now dead. Uh, Killed by the same person, presumably, who'd done us in. We'd found this out because they draw up the tableau on our heads, which honestly feels premeditated. Anyways, so being that that wasn't the best circumstances to get a conversation in, we asked Lucerne if they would be able to arrange a meeting for us after school, and I think that's what we're waiting on right now.
All right, so you guys are at the Cotton Winter Resort.
Speaking of phone calls I have made before, I also talked to Ripley this morning and asked if this evening he could make it so that the warehouse would be open to us, as we are going to finally figure out who murdered us tonight. Stay tuned.
Oh boy. Yay, trauma.
Watch me relive my own death tonight.
Oh, you guys, guess what?
Hmm.
I am making we have a cool new feature to deal with.
Yeah? What you got for us?
I get to create a ghost with Kenny.
Oh, so as a player, you're going to redeem that?
Yes, I am.
Fine. Fine.
Oh
I'll allow
no.
it. I'll allow it, but bear in mind, if you want to create something I've already created, I'm going to tell you about that.
uh, I want someone who is really, really insanely boring.
Fair enough. We can do that.
Excellent. We'll do that later. Okay. So we're heading up to Winter Resort?
So after school, the three of you head to the Cotton Winter Resort. Are you bringing any crew members along, ghosts, etc.?
I imagine we are going with Lucerne because Lucerne seems like the one who can get us through the door, and I imagine if Lucerne's going, Gus is probably going.
Fair enough.
I don't think we should bring Myrtle or Mr. Ripley.
Correct.
Uh,
Yeah.
Mr. Ripley and Myrtle, I want on hand for this evening's event, so I don't want to burn their whole time. They've
Yep.
been politely asked to clear some time in their schedules to attend the warehouse.
Should we bring Chloe?
Uh, Chloe should also be there. Um, they care about who killed, you know,
Okay, so we want her for the warehouse as well.
yeah. I don't know if Chloe needs to be here for the Delilah meeting.
Um, yeah, no, that's honestly, I think minimal people
I
would
think
probably
I
be
think we're
best,
gonna have
yeah.
all hands on deck tonight, but for now I think it's just us and the two changeling folk. So that's who we
All
got
right.
today.
Great. As the group parks, you notice a increased security presence around the area. Uh, while they are stationed tactically at certain areas to stay out of sight from the tourists that do occasionally happen to make their way up here, not just the locals, there is a number of people from Cotton Security around the building. You can't see anyone carrying heavy weaponry like they did at the discovery of the murder, but knowing Cotton Security, none of them are unarmed.
Okay.
Oh, before this comes up, I have not told my parents about this meeting, by the way.
I think that's a really good idea. Though definitely a thing to have in your back pocket about your advancing up in the world. My parents think I'm practicing hockey. They always think I'm practicing hockey. Generally, I am practicing hockey.
And go ahead and make a perception roll.
Oh my.
Alrighty. Composure and wits.
All right, that thing that I am not good at.
Oh, apparently
Composure
me
and wit.
neither.
And I mean, I got 4 die for it, so
Mhm.
I'm not terrible. Just
Four
what?
dice, four successes. Well done.
Okay.
Uh, apparently, getting this close to a cotton is triggering your ancestral memories. For those of you who are playing Aang at home, Delilah Cotton is the great granddaughter of a previous character of Tibbs's.
Yeah. It was, and that character was a sniper, so he was very good at perception.
So as Lucy leads you through the resort to the room where uh, you're to meet with Delilah Cotton, Ty and Ethan notice amongst a group of other Cotton security guards the familiar face of the school resource officer, Sergeant Audie Killian, glaring intently at the group.
Nathan ignores him.
Finally, you're ushered into the room by Lucerne. Delilah Cotton is sitting at a small meeting table, flanked by two other security guards. When Lucerne enters, with the group of you. Delilah dismisses the guards. You notice that they don't look particularly happy. One opens his mouth to begin saying something, but the other guard shoots him a quick look, and the two leave without any further incident.
Hey, Gus.
Gus nods and says, "You want me to keep an eye on him?"
I'd just like to know about the conversation that's about to happen in the hallway. You could just let me know about that when they're done.
All right, I'll keep an eye. He steps through the closed door.
Sorry, Lucerne. Just worth knowing.
Delilah is not a young woman per se, but she's not middle aged yet. In that young adult area of her mid 30s. Uh, she's clearly wearing some of the most expensive tailored clothing you've ever seen. And her hair is immaculately styled. Today, she seems to be wearing it light brown. You notice that she's fidgeting around with paper and pen. She takes a deep breath and says, Lucerne, and the kids, hello. It's been a rough few days.
I can imagine. It's nice to meet you under better circumstances, at least. Um, I don't know if we got through proper introductions. My name's Ty Kinnison. Pleasure to meet you.
She nods. Will the rest of you introduce yourselves?
Yeah. And I'm going to apologize for the abrasive first interaction I had with her. and uh and move on.
Nathan?
Hello, I'm Nathan Cartwright, and I am at your disposal.
So I'm not sure what you wanted to talk about, she says, but I imagine it has something to do with, she pauses, her lip quivering slightly, recent murder.
Yes, that was a rather unfortunate incident, and we would like to speak with you about it. Due to some additional information that we need.
She nodded, a shadow of sadness passing across her face. I thought you might. She puts a manila folder on the table. I had security do a thorough investigation. Uh, the police haven't been informed yet, but I plan to do it later this evening.
Do they have an approximate time of death?
She nods. About half an hour before you showed up.
All right, that answers one question. Um, I don't know if this is of any comfort, but we came here also to tell you that we're actively working on finding the person who did this, did this to our classmates, and of course, her. And we will be solving that murder tonight.
Delilah wiped a tear from her eye and was like, I'd heard about the other murders. An entire high school class?
Every single one of them.
No survivors.
She opened up the file and paged through some of the pictures and the report. From what I've seen, uh, folks have been calling this guy the exhibition killer. He he sets up his kills as some sort of twisted artwork, gives it a title, right?
Yes. Um, Ma'am, I don't know how to ask this more politely. Are there cameras in this room?
Not in this room.
All right. Um, did Lucerne tell you what we are?
She nods and says, uh, "You're half ghost or something?"
Yes. That's about the summary. We can go into more detail another time. Ma'am, at the end of the day, we are in a position to do something about what has happened here, but we are also, in a very real way, three high school kids. And while the Scooby Doo of it all is very entertaining, we will need help to actually get anything done. You are the most powerful person in the entirety of Whispering Peaks, bar none. We've come here today to ask you if you're willing to help us solve these murders and bring the person who did this to your friend, to our friends, to justice.
Well, the folder's for you guys, she said, scooting it over to your side of the table, but I don't know what else you want from me. I don't think money's going to help very much here.
Well, we don't know yet, but we wanted to talk to you and to reassure you that we are going to be solving the murder case tonight. We should know who is responsible for this killing by this evening, or I will be dead. One of the two.
She
Don't worry.
sighs and said, whatever I can do to help the three of you.
All right.
Sorry about that,
Oh
Tibbs.
no,
Go
no
ahead.
worries, no worries, no worries. I was just gonna be cheeky. That's all.
Currently, we'd like to maintain an open dialogue between us to help solve this and potentially any other future things in the future.
Um, Also, the bef before we part ways and whatnot, or before we head out, there was one thing that I wanted to warn you about. Uh, so my name is Ethan Barlow. Are you familiar with the Mr. and Mrs. Barlow here in the city or here in the town?
She frowns and says, I think that one of our subsidiary companies employs a Barlow.
Okay. Well, um, my parents are some of the wealthiest people here in town, and I highly recommend you do not trust them.
She raises an eyebrow. You don't want me to trust your parents?
It's a long story, but the short of it is the reason why they are as rich as they are, as well as the Kimballs, don't trust them either, is because they're part of a cult, which at least we've confirmed for my parents uh, per have participated in ritual sacrifice.
She heaves a deep sigh. Another one?
Apparently, back about 20, 30 years ago.
Yep.
I thought I was coming here from Las Vegas to go somewhere safe and quiet.
To be fair, it's only the one serial killer about at the moment. Most of these are pretty cold cases.
Mhm. And the uh, the level of power and influence that you have compared to anyone here is the difference is staggering.
Uh,
But if you if you know or if you don't know that there's a threat, you can't avoid it.
Regardless, thank you for taking time to meet us. I know these are not the best circumstances. I'm sure you're in contact with Lucerne. You will know everything we know by the end of the evening, I'm sure.
Lucerne quietly got up and headed around the table to give Delilah a hug. I'm glad Grandpa asked you to come with me, she says. It it was nice to have a normal human friend, but at least it's good to have someone I can depend on when things get like this. And thanks for introducing me to your friends.
Well, we hope we can become someone you can depend on as well. And hey, we're locals.
Out of character. Is now a good time to ask her to reassign that asshole?
Not at the moment.
No,
Damn.
What were you
Let's our
asking for?
the
What?
the the security guard at the school. She they're asking if now's a good time to ask for him to get reassigned.
and yeah, no, we're not doing that in character yet.
No.
Let's earn some trust first.
Yeah.
I just wanted to lay some groundwork for us to get Delilah in the crew. And I feel like we have accomplished that and covered our bases for the evening. Do you guys have anything else you need to go over with Delilah?
I recommend some good food spots in town. The two of them.
Ah, yes. Both places you can go out to eat.
Yep.
I grew up in that town.
All right. We thank them for making time for us, and we head on down the mountain towards a very specific place on the way back.
As you guys head back out to the car, you are rejoined by Gus.
Hi, Gus. So, was I right? Was there a conversation immediately out in the hall?
Yeah, he nods. Uh, they apparently don't like that the boss lady isn't listening to their recommendations about her safety. They already had some reservations about that creepy video store girl that came up to Colorado with her. And they especially have reservations about random high school kids meeting with her and her removing her security from the room over their recommendation.
Well,
Well, it sucks that they have less power than three high schoolers.
They
so
also said they would have to take this up with the captain and see if there was anything they could do.
gotcha. So keep eyes for coming things coming down on our neck, as if we weren't already on a swivel. All right. So, let's go over tonight's plan again, if only because
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous.
Oh, and of course, you guys get the folder that Delilah gave you. So if
hmm
you wish to look at the folder of evidence regarding the murder, you have all the information.
Awesome. Hey, person with photographic memory, would you mind giving that a quick skim through right now?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, eidetic memory, but we might need it later.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and look through through the murder there, or through uh
Bile.
the file. Sorry. Look through the file and see if anything see if I can glean anything new from it.
The one thing that we do know is that the time of death lines up with when the tableau drops. So it's not when the body was found, it was when the body was, as it were, made.
Yeah.
So that seems to mean that it is the act of killing that causes the tableau to drop. Kind of obvious, probably how it was always going to work, but every detail we can get is important.
Yeah.
And with art, sometimes it's when things are found. If he'd killed her the night before, that would have been different.
Yep.
So Ethan looks through the file to see if anything jumps out. The ski instructor was found, according to the report in the photographs, strangled and submerged in a hole uh, punched in the ice of the lake. Uh, a title was carved into one of the skis that was driven into the ice of the lake. There were no marks of anything like a hammer being used to drive the ski in there. And the title was The Withered Flower of Youth. Uh, there was also some photographs of the nearby area with the major uh, point of interest being a nearby equipment shed that had some sort of ritual circle chalked on the floor. There was also some metallic debris found around the circle.
Interesting.
What kind does it say what the metallic debris was? Like what it was made out of?
Chemical analysis shows that it appears to be common steel, not even a particularly high grade of it. Uh, but it had been so thoroughly smashed into bits and appeared to have even been burnt that it was difficult to identify from the small pieces.
Huh.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
So, given that, one, we probably want to go take a look at that circle sometimes. I'm sure it's been photographed and see if we can't find anything out about that. But that's not what we're doing tonight. Tonight, here's the plan. The Memoria allows me to remember things that have happened before in a very visual, very nice and dramatic way. And its most evolved form, which I've acquired recently, allows me to insert people as actors, replaying the roles within it. Being that my own personal death only included two parties, that being my murderer and myself, if two people are put into the scene involving my own death, I believe, according to the power, I will be playing myself, which means whoever else goes in there will be playing the killer and will thus know who they are. And if they're allowed to break their consciousness and pull out from the dream, know who they are, be able to pull off their disguise, allow us to physically see who they are, and allow us to investigate the scene, like the book that was apparently being referred to throughout the entire thing, according to our only witness to the murder. This, however, does have a single risk. If the person who is taking over the job of the murderer does not wake up, they will rehash their part, and I will experience my own death again. Being that it was being cast into a bronze trophy with molten metal being poured over my head, um, I do not suspect I will survive that. And we'll get to go over the what happens when a Geist dies, sorry, what happens when a Sin Eater dies rules tonight. But we're hoping that won't come up. So, which of you two feels like you can pass that roll?
What's the role again?
Let's take a look. All right. So, breaking the actor condition, and Jeff should have had this ready. Thank you everyone for being so patient at this time. All right. So anyways, the Memoria, rank 5.
Thank you for months too, Mike.
Woo! Hi,
Thank you very much,
Mike.
Mike.
Always good to see you. All right. So break the cycle says um, the character may go off script with a reflexive resolve plus synergy roll, making actions or statements that are not part of the original memory and altering its outcome.
Okay, so I've got a 7 in that roll.
I think I'd uh, be better utilized with the boneyard.
I think it's a great idea. Especially because you'll be able to remember everything that's in that book, and that is your job tonight. Is we're going to find a way to turn pages. You need to memorize that book from cover to cover. I need you to do that for me.
Alrighty.
And anything else that comes up that we can't possibly prepare for. But
Yeah.
that book seems like the key here. Anyways, so I'm gonna go put my life on the line because that's something Ty is very much willing to do.
Nathan is willing to observe and ask questions.
All right. So, we arrive at the warehouse, and I'm hoping that Mr. Ripley's car has beat us there.
Yeah, the rest of the crew is assembled. Moneybags and Immortal members.
Good to see everyone.
Mr. Ripley informs the group that he has requested permission to enter the warehouse from not just the management of Farmer Kimball's, but the parent company, Cotton Industries. So not only do you have legal permission to enter the warehouse, but the Kimballs themselves are not going to be notified.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I walk inside. trying to steel my shoulders and look as confident as I can.
I'm going to
All right.
ask just for clarity. Our bodies aren't still there, right?
Of course not.
Okay.
We've been
The
wandering around with
warehouse
this whole time.
the
I mean, not
warehouse
ours,
is
but
empty. The warehouse is empty and clean.
okay.
As you were informed, the warehouse is usually used for produce during the growing season, but since it's midwinter, it is completely empty.
Okay.
All right. Once everyone's inside, I walk back to where I woke up and reach within myself. I don't know how this is going to go. If it goes badly, I recommend nobody watch. Otherwise, I'm sorry that everyone is going to probably find out something unpleasant this evening. But I think either I need you to have this information, or it will be good closure for you to know who was responsible for what occurred. If you do not wish to witness this, there's plenty of room in this warehouse where you won't have to see it. We can call you in when we're done and talk about what happened. But I didn't think it was my place to decide who got to know what happened here. We are, all of us, here to find out what's happening, so I can't deny anyone that information.
Also, please don't touch us.
I can't promise you that this will be pleasant. In fact, I suspect it will not be. Anyways, I reach into my pocket and I pull out one of those old, like, tourist cameras, the disposable ones with the green paper on them that you have to manually wind. And as I look down on it, I rip open the back of it, turning the key of sickness, and noisily vomit a stream of light into the back over the film. As I activate the Memoria. Synergy 2 plus Memoria 5 plus, I believe, Stamina is sickness. So that's going to be a grand total of 11. What's wrong?
I think their stuff just died. Um,
I was actually able to physically hear that, so I'm afraid we're going to have a short intermission while I go fix the technical issues that just got caused by a cat ripping out all of Lex's microphones and owns at once. So excuse me one moment. Thank you for holding. We appreciate your patience.
oh, honestly, that's a good intermission point. Just as the dramatics is about to happen, right? Very. Uh, I I I love our cats. I really do. I bet you anything it was Kerrigan too.
Probably.
Okay, so this is gonna be
All right, is your camera still pointed in the correct direction?
Yes.
okay. So they're coming through the mic now, so good.
That just knocked it off kilter.
That's right. I'm trying to make it go back. All right. Are we back on?
This way. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm doing my
That-
best. All right.
looks
So you
okay.
should be back on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, and my mouse is working. We're good.
Alrighty.
Data son.
Hey, okay. So was everybody able to get water, get everything that they need?
All right. Thank you for that brief intermission. Let me just fix my stuff that I upset by getting up and moving. All right, now you can no longer see everything, and intermission is over. Thank you for that. We're back after those messages. So I vomit into the back of the camera as I roll. I had just done this math. 9 plus 2 is 11. For the love of God, Montresor, this will be really embarrassing if I fail this roll. Hello. Exceptional success.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
With that, despite the fact that this is a picture camera and not in fact a projector of any variety, light begins to erupt from the lens, filling the room in a way that has become deeply familiar to constant viewers of our program and also the fellow players.
Hey, Jeff, the roles are not updating in
Stream.
the stream.
Huh. Let me fix that. Yep, I see why. My apologies.
Alrighty.
That should be fixed.
All right, and how much plasma are you paying here?
So I've got the full key for turning uh, it, and I'm also going to spend the maximum I'm allowed to, which I believe is currently 2. Um, so let me
All
see
right,
how
so
much
how much are you spending on the area?
honestly, I know where this all happened, so it just has to fill. Actually, we should probably do the warehouse, huh? Just in case he's moving around it. So I'm gonna do the
Yeah.
warehouse.
All right. And you get 2 charges of the Memoria condition per plasm spent on Recall the Memoria.
And I'm spending. I'm spending that additional 2 plasm as I heave on converting 2 people into actors, myself and Nathan.
All right, and since you're not unwilling, that means no roll.
I believe.
And are you going to spend the 2 plasm for the enhancements for Break the Cycle?
Yep, those will be the next 2 plasm I spend. With that, I believe that my violent illness fades from view as I am pulled from my body into my simulacrum.
Alrighty. So you wanted to inhabit your own form in this memory?
It says that when ghosts are put into memories that they were physically part of, they will automatically be placed in their own bodies for the play, and I am a ghost in a meaningful sense.
Uh, in that case, then Nathan would also have the same issue.
The problem is I'm only seeing my own personal death. That's the scene we are portraying here.
Oh, so you're not going to see the entire incident, just when you were killed.
It's the only way I can guarantee that we will have somebody playing the murderer, because there was a whole high school worth of kids here. The odds of getting someone to land on the murderer if we're doing the whole thing is slim to nil, unless we fill this room with dozens of strangers, all of whom will get to know what happened and potentially putting dozens of people in danger.
Jeff, you
Whereas
need to
my
move
own,
your microphone closer.
whereas my own personal death, I can guarantee that the only person in harm's way as myself. So I name my own name, I speak the date of my death and time, and describe the method by which I was killed aloud in a rasping voice, my throat burned with something far worse than stomach acid.
All right. In that case, since we're skipping forward to the murders part of the actual scene, the plasm released when Ty recalls the memoria swirls around the room, restoring it to the point in time where the exhibition killer was going about his business. Ty, that means you are unconscious.
Yep.
I activate the boneyard.
All right. Make your rolls, and what are you doing with the boneyard?
Trying to get as much detail as possible. So I'm also going to use the the key of pyre flame.
So this is Boneyard, also known as No Clip.
Yeah. Alrighty. So so that's intelligence plus. Okay, intelligence plus boneyard plus energy. So die pool of 9. And this is really important. So I'm going to actually I'm not going to do willpower yet. Okay, 4 successes. That's good. That's fine. And it's going to be I'm spending enough plasm to be able to cover the entirety of the warehouse. So that should be 3.
How much plasm then?
3? I only have 2 dots of boneyard right now.
Already.
So,
So
by the
you're going to
way,
spend 3.
Tibbs,
Mhm.
your job is to wake up the murderer as quickly as possible.
Okay.
That's me. I'm the murderer.
At least I really hope so. Otherwise, we're going to find something out very interesting, and also I'm in incredible danger.
All right. Let me see here. I'm just looking at what I can do with base boneyard here. Okay. Anyway. Sorry, that was me.
Alrighty. So just taking a quick look in regards to what wakes up an actor, other than making a reflexive resolve plus synergy roll.
I mean, I'm cool with making the resolve plus energy roll.
Yeah.
Being reminded of your true identity by someone involved in the echo, no, someone not involved in the echo, also allows an attempt to break the spell. So, Ty, you are unconscious. The moment you begin inhabiting your body in the past, you go completely out. So this is what everyone else is seeing. The warehouse has been neatly divided into 5 rows of 6, with small squares marked out in chalk. Within each one, there is a person, one of your classmates, who has been set up uh, as part of part of their tableau. Some of them have already been killed, but not all of them. Ty isn't the last. Uh, the office area of the warehouse in the far left corner of the building has its door firmly shut. Other than that, the only other things that can be heard are the equipment that the killer is using, which in this case is a industrial boiler for keeping metal molten. The exhibition killer is wearing exactly what you remember: a raincoat over a gas mask and a pair of blue jeans and gloves. You can see a notebook in his pocket as he tends to the boiler. Ty's body has been rigged into a trophy-like pose, holding a hockey stick aloft via the use of ropes and wooden poles. Ethan, since you are inhabiting the mind of the killer right now, you feel a giddy excitement.
Ooh, yay, I'm excited.
Everything is
Ethan.
finally coming together.
Ethan.
I'm Nathan.
Or Nathan.
You're Ethan.
I'm Ethan. Yeah.
Rocky.
So from the see, yeah. So I'm gonna start trying to remind Nathan of his actual identity. Nathan, need to come too. You have work to do. It's not hard work, but we need you here. Wake up.
All right, so I'm going to roll because there is a thing that Nathan really wants to say and has to be himself to do it.
Right? To wake up, it is a reflexive resolve plus composure roll.
Yes. Oh, it's resolve plus composure? I thought it was synergy.
What it says in the actor condition is resolve plus composure.
That's to wake you up. Synergy will let you go off script and change things.
Okay, sorry, please ignore that roll. Okay, cross your fingers. Hey, 2 successes.
And let's see. Where does it mention the synergy roll here?
Enhancements. Break the cycle. The character may go off script with a reflexive resolve plus synergy roll, making actions or statements that are not part of the original memory and altering its outcome.
That's true. Would you like to do the same for Ty, Ethan?
I think you're going to have to shake me
Yeah.
awake.
Yeah.
Well, Nathan would have to shake him awake because Ethan is not in the memory and thus cannot physically touch it.
Yeah, I'm just observing.
Okay, so Nathan comes too and immediately shoots back with, it's not really work because I'm not being paid for it. So technically, if we're being literal, this is simply an investigation, not work.
I knew
And then
I knew Pet being wrong would would wake them up.
Okay, so Nathan, you have come to in the body of the exhibition killer during this memory.
Okay. First thing I need to do is that roll, right?
You just did it, didn't you?
I did the wake up roll, not the
Ah, yeah, that's right. You did the wake up roll. You
not the
can
off
roll
script roll.
resolve. Okay, you can now make a resolve plus synergy roll to not follow along with what the killer did.
4 successes.
I live! Oh my god, I get to live! I know you had incredible dice for this. I did not think it was going to go bad, but the dice have been meaner on more dice. I remember rolling 12 dice and getting 0 successes.
I
Oh.
I tapped Ty's face. Wake up. Or I administered. I'm in the killer's body. I know what he's doing. Does this require an antidote, or do I just like wake him up by jostling him?
You do know what the killer would need here. In this case, the gas is a heavy sedative. It doesn't require an antidote, but it does require force.
Hit me as hard as
So,
you can.
I'm just about to add to all of these hockey TBIs. So Nathan cuffs Ty upside the head. Wake up.
make a strength plus athletics roll since we're not actually trying to hurt Ty.
Oh dear. Okay. I
Willpower?
failed.
Willpower?
Let me willpower.
William Powers the third.
I have 2 dice on this roll, y'all. 1 success.
I get to be part of the scene instead of Ragnar. Woo! Void!
Thank you,
Thank you,
Void.
Thank you, Void. Thank you. Okay,
Hope you're
Ty,
enjoying the
make your
show.
roll. Make
Wake
your
up,
roll now,
Ty.
Ty.
All right. What is my role? Oh, right, the breaking out of the thing. So that's going
Resolve
to
plus
be.
synergy.
Yep. All right. That's a grand total of 4 dice. So hopefully I can do something other than scream.
Ah,
1
Hey!
success is a
hey.
success.
Oh, bare by the skin of our teeth, we
I
succeed.
I am awake and aware within the scene. I don't need to do anything, so unless you guys need Ty to participate in the taking of the scene, all I need to do is stay here and not be murdered. So I'm just
Yep.
gonna observe from my I'm not gonna say comfortable, but at least well supported position. You know, this was a
Okay.
little tacky, wasn't it? I say, hanging in the air, holding a hockey stick.
Okay, Nathan, now that you have successfully went off script and reawoken to your identity within the memory, what are you going to do? This is now your show.
Who am I? I speak my name aloud.
Additionally, I hate to say this, but Nathan, I'm gonna need you to strip for everyone. Start by emptying your pockets.
Well, I'm waiting to see if Kenny will let me say my name.
I'm actually taking a quick look just to see if that piece of information would be given to you. Just bear with me.
Yeah, a lot of people said Conan Doyle's name to him. So,
Okay.
All right, the actor condition. I'm reading over that. Bear with me. The actor condition. You have become part of the memoria, taking on the persona and actions of someone involved in the events. Your character doesn't gain any knowledge of who their persona was or what they were thinking, but nonetheless, their character finds themselves compelled to do what their persona did and say what they said during the echo.
Okay. Well then, I empty my pockets. Are there any wallets? Do I have a phone?
There is a cheap burner phone, a pair of wire-rimmed glasses, and a notebook with a pencil attached via a ribbon.
Okay. So first of all, I take the burner phone. Um, Ethan, out of character.
Yeah.
I know you,
Yes.
Mr. Hacker Extraordinaire.
Yeah.
You've got a burner phone somewhere that's untraceable.
Probably, yeah.
Cool. What's the number?
I give them the burner cell phone number.
I text the burner's phone number from the burner.
I don't think that's
Next.
gonna cause real things to have happened in the world.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's worth a shot.
Nonetheless, strip it, take the... Oh, check your call history.
Yeah, good call. I'm checking the call history, the texts, the most recent Google searches,
Anything
how to appropriately boil metal, things like that.
This phone is not a smartphone. It is the minimum viable phone that you could get at Walmart for about $20. However, it does have a call history.
Okay.
You note several calls placed to a number. No numbers are saved, but the same number appears multiple times.
All right, I have Ethan take a look at it and memorize the number before we move on to the notebook.
Also, the number that this phone was at the time.
Oh yeah, good call.
Because with both of those, we can check the switchboard locally and potentially even get recordings of that call, depending on whether they saved those.
Oh, and since Ethan does have photographic memory, this would be the same burner phone that you got to look at when you use the boneyard to see the SIM card.
Okay.
He hangs on to his burners for a little while. How interesting.
Okay.
What did you say? I couldn't quite hear, Jeff.
He hangs on to his burners for a little while. How interesting. Because that would mean he'd hung on to it for at least 2 of his murders. That makes it valuable. We flip through the notebook, or rather somebody else does. I'm just gonna hang out.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip through the notebook slowly. Every time Ethan tells me he's got a page down, I flip.
All right. On the first page is a extremely detailed magical circle, along with transcribed writings. The handwriting is solid, masculine, but flowing. But in this case, you note that it is somewhat clumsy because it is transcribing words in French.
It's French.
Da Vinci murders.
Okay.
The next few pages, after the couple pages that details the ceremony in French, are notes on the operation of the ceremony in the same hand, written in English. Oh, Oh, thank you, whoever gave Tactical Life a sub. We're really
Awesome.
grateful.
And we are so close to our goal, guys. One more and we've hit our goal.
Woo!
Thank you guys for being so amazing. We really appreciate all the support.
The first handful of notes uh, seem to be stream of consciousness musings on the nature of tableau and the creation of artificial ones. There are some notes in the margins. Is it the will of the underworld? Is it some greater intelligence? Regardless, he did learn how to make his own. The next few paragraphs talk about the alteration of the lure, especially the removal of the cage. The final paragraphs uh, seem to be uh, several iterations of magical phrasings in French. There are scratch marks, erase marks, things moved and moved out and moved away. Finally, he does seem to settle on one line in French. The next handful of pages are several iterations of the same ceremony. The magical circle in detail is there and is altered noticeably from page to page. Uh, the the words are now in English rather than French, at least for the first ceremony. The second one goes back to French. You flip through half a dozen before the seventh ceremony and the final written page, which appears to be the one that the killer settled on.
Okay. Are there go ahead.
The steps of the ceremony are noted as follows. Establish the circle nearby the site of the killing. Consecrate the equipment to be used, one chain and one winch. Destroy the equipment while opening the gate. Grasp the cast-off equipment and fashion it into the chain for use with the ceremony. Create tableau. Ingredient, at least one victim. Ghost must be extracted upon death for fashioning into tableau. Combine new tableau uh, with the cast off of the consecrated chain and winch. Lower anchor and close gate.
Okay. So, um, You said one of the pages had the words from the circle in English.
Yes.
What are the words from the circle?
The words from the circle around the outside are the names of all the apprentices of Leonardo da Vinci.
Motherfucker.
There are notes throughout the various iterations of in which order they need to be and whether some apprentices need to be are required or can be left out in order to shorten the time for the creation of the circle.
Okay. All
The
right.
final note, the final notes for the ceremony. Number of anchors required for the work is unknown. I will try 30 at once.
And he failed because he didn't catch all of them. Several people got away, including us.
Right. Ethan, you did use the boneyard.
Yes.
Are you going, what do you want to do with that now that you guys have seen the notebook?
Um,
Keep it up. Go find the circle. It's still fresh right now.
yeah.
See if you can find the chain, the winch, the anchor, because those should still be around right now.
Is the is there a Avernian gate open within the boneyard?
The boneyard would tell you that, so yes, there is one, or at least a memory of one in this memorial.
Okay. Can I can I take a look at that gate and see what's on the other side?
So you want to shift your consciousness and try to find it?
Yeah.
Give me wits plus investigation or something similar.
Please feel
But
free to use some of my charges. I'm going to be
yeah,
closing this as soon as we're done getting info from the body itself.
yeah. What's the bonus for that?
Just one moment.
Can I argue occult?
Sure, I'll allow that.
Alright. And haunt conditions. Theoretically, one day I'll have all this memorized.
Yep.
Until then, thank you all for your patience. Alright. So, anyways.
Right. Does Ethan have charges of the Memoria?
No, everyone has access to my charges of the Memoria.
Where does it say that they can access your charges?
I thought they could. Believe that was some of the benefit of, performing this where everyone can see. Um, that would be under denouement. Characters. Recreate. Oh, apparently they are just mine to burn. My apologies.
Okay. No worries.
I thought that was part of denouement, but I may be misremembering. It's been a little bit.
Okay. Anyway, um, so wits plus occult sounds appropriate, yeah?
Yeah, to find a Avernian gate. Makes sense to me.
One success.
So, with the enhanced awareness of the boneyard, you reach out your senses for anything that would signify the presence of the gate. You do sense quite a bit of chalk in the office of the warehouse, considering that the notebook says that the circle is involved in the creation of the gate. That is likely where it is.
All right. So I'll say something to out loud about that, and then switch my perspective to uh somewhere in the office so I can get a view of everything in there.
Okay, so you pay the plasm to switch your perspective to the office.
Yeah.
All right, so you're getting a good look at the office. The office was sparsely furnished with a fairly Spartan desk and chair, but these have all been moved to the side so that a large magic circle can be made in chalk in the middle of the room. On the desk, well, before that, the magic circle is surrounding a open circular Avernian gate. You do see a mundane but ghostly chain on a winch setup descending into the gate. Looking down, you can't see much, but you can see geography far below. While you can't see much at all, you can tell that you're looking down on the underworld from the ceiling of the caverns.
Well, I suspect I know exactly where that's above. In pinpoint detail.
Can you move your microphone a bit closer, Jeff? You're cutting in and out.
I suspect I know exactly where that goes. In pinpoint detail, no less. So,
There is also on the desk of the office a small ornate box wrapped in silver chains and locked. Every so often, it moves slightly as though something inside of it were straining to get out.
possessor of the boneyard,
Yep.
I have a question. Do you think
Yes.
that you could find a key somewhere within your boneyard?
I mean, you
Uh,
could just come out and ask me if there's a key in my pocket.
Yeah. Could do that too.
Or he could transfer his consciousness inside the box to see what's in there.
Let's see here. It does. And it does. Just a sec here.
All right, I'm tired of being passive in this scene. Synergy plus resolve, I believe.
Yep.
So I'm going to take a shot at getting to do anything but hang here and wait to die. That's
I'm gonna ask.
2 plus 2 is 4. Hey! 4 success.
All right. You can now go off script, but you're still tied up.
Strength plus athletics. I'd like to break the ropes.
I'll allow it on an exceptional success.
Would I be able to apply the Aya bonus because I am a giant?
I mean, I think that's factored into your strength already, isn't it?
Fair enough. Worth trying.
Can I assist?
I'm trying to do a stunt here. If I don't get out, I'm
Okay.
just gonna have you untie me. But this was funnier to me.
Okay.
2 successes, so no. I strain, I squench, I do not get out.
So, real quick here. Um, the boneyard condition does say that characters within the boneyard cannot hide their presence from me. So, is there a presence within in that box that was bumping around?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say something about that real quick.
All right,
All
come
right.
on back and let's move your physical body around as we all go take a trip to the office.
Okay.
I don't suppose you could take me down, if it's all the same to you, Mr. Killer, sir.
Oh, yes. I'm so glad you finally asked. It was fun watching you struggle, though.
It would have
Um,
been more impressive if I could get it out, but he actually very good nuts.
so Nathan takes off the masks and goes to untie Kai.
So what does the killer look like without a mask on, Kenny?
The exhibition killer without his mask is a tall and broad older man with close cropped gray hair. Considering that there were glasses in his pocket, he is likely to wear glasses, but is not currently wearing them. He has leathery tan skin and a lot of laugh lines.
Do we know him?
Y'all get the feeling that this man looks like he would normally, in average life, look very friendly.
But I take it nobody in this room recognizes him.
Uh, you know, if anyone has, I'll let you guys make a roll for it. What would be what would be proper here? Let's see, intelligence plus. I think the closest thing here would be streetwise or politics.
I think we've got someone who I am 900% sure has an incredible intelligence plus politics. Myrtle, come save us now.
Right, you've got her character sheet. I
Yep.
am going to apply a -3 to the roll, but you can roll for her.
I mean, fair, but I doubt politics applies here. But you know what? We still got 2 on those dice. I'm going to have them burn a willpower because this is so important. So I've got.
Hold on. Hold on. This could be a really good clue. Kenny, why is there a negative?
Why am I applying a penalty?
Yeah.
Because I want there to be a penalty.
Because we're trying
Okay.
to recognize a random face outside of context in a dirty warehouse.
Fair enough.
Do I recognize him from the church?
No.
Okay. It's worth asking.
3 successes from Myrtle Flynn.
Yeah, Myrtle.
Get it.
So after Nathan had the killer shed his mask, uh, Myrtle got closer, walking through the illusionary memories to peer very, very closely. She writes down something in her notebook and puts it away. Well, she said, I didn't expect that one.
What one?
Well, you kids have been to a funeral, haven't you?
I mean,
or at least, well, maybe not recently.
all of our friends just died, so yeah, we've been to a few funerals.
I
A
I
funerals. Damn it.
I didn't go actually. I thought it was in poor taste.
Well, those would have been too recent anyway. Did you go to any funerals within a few years ago?
No, family's pretty healthy.
Who
I
is
did.
it? Is it the Undertaker?
Charles Russo. He ran the funeral home until he retired about 5 years ago. His
We got
daughter runs it now.
we got killed by the fucking Undertaker. What is this? A WWE storyline?
Oh, you beat me to it, man. Oh shit. Okay.
Um,
Um, would he have been at my grandfather's funeral?
When did your grandfather die, James?
5 or 6 years ago.
Then probably, yeah. He only retired 5 years ago.
huh. So, well,
Another
um,
name.
so we know who killed us. Bad news. This isn't admissible in court.
Who said anything about taking him to court?
Who cares about court?
Just saying, it's not like we can go call the cops. But this still needs dealing with because he is actively murdering people. And that's what we came here for. So,
We No, never mind. That's a bad
last
idea.
Let's find
so
out what's. Sorry, go ahead.
before we go on, Charles, I hate to ask. I'm afraid I'm going to need to see every identifying feature your body has right now.
Mhm. Nathan clears his throat.
It's not even
Sighs.
yours.
Look, I've never stripped in front of anyone before, okay? Forgive me, there's not even any music.
There,
I think it would be weirder if there was.
you. Okay.
So,
The Cena Eater may create minor cosmetic poltergeist effects within Bone Guard,
No!
such as
Stop! Stop!
just hearing careless whisper. Okay, anyway.
Good
Sorry.
night, everybody!
We're fine. We're normal. Nathan strips. It is completely without fanfare, very wooden, very awkward. Um,
Are there
and
any
he stands like a teenage boy would.
Are there any scars, tattoos, markings, anything that would identify this person if they were seen outside of this context? Or is this just
Microphone.
an old naked man?
There's nothing especially interesting regarding Charles Russo's body. He has a couple of minor scars here and there. He's in a remarkably good shape for someone his age. Other than that, nothing much.
Put some pants on, let's go take a look at the office. This is the last thing we're doing before we go watch the whole movie, but I wanted to get everything we could while we were still in scene.
All right. Nathan quickly puts pants back on.
So, do you got a key in there anywhere?
Was there a key in my was there anything else in my pockets?
No, there is no key, and that was all that was in there.
Well, you know what, guys? We already have a key prepped.
we do have a skeleton key that's not used.
Olive, would you please sit the fuck down?
The key does not exist within the memory. However, the ritual is real regardless. So we can make Charles within the memory perform the ritual, and skeleton key will work. So merely, we're going to make a skeleton key in this moment to open the box.
All right. In the office, Kenny, are there post-its?
Yeah, drawers of the in the drawers of the desk.
Excellent. Nathan writes down a supremely uncomplicated password, something that a dead undertaker would use as a password, probably password 123, and starts to turn it into a skeleton key.
All right. See what rolls are needed for that.
That's an excellent question. I believe it was just damage, but let me double check.
Resolve plus investigation.
All right, 1, 2, 4. All right. Dice don't fail me now.
We're using every bit of magic that we have in this entire series tonight, guys.
2 successes.
Nice.
Congratulations, you have created a skeleton key.
Crack the box. Tell us what's inside.
I do so carefully. I don't know how one does that carefully, but I am. That is stated.
Alrighty. So, you want to open the box?
I do.
Jeff, I don't know what you keep doing with your microphone, but it's having the same problem again.
My apologies.
That's better.
Right to here.
So we have an identity, huh?
So once we are done with all the things we can interfere with, we're going to watch the scene from beginning to end. I'm starting a new Memoria, and we're just going to observe it. To watch his entire process. Just to let you know where I'm at on this.
Yep.
But I wanted to have a chance to fuck around in the scene, and this is the only safe way I could think of.
Yep.
And I did not want to risk one of you two dying. If somebody was going to die because of this cockamamie scheme, it should be me dying for my own cockamamie scheme. This is the only thing I can do to help. I'm not smart like you guys, but I can do this.
Out of character. We were able to, because when we did this in the gym, it was caught on the security cameras, which means people can take recordings of this, correct?
It's physically
Yes.
visible. You could take photographs.
Perfect. Someone get out your phone.
I mean, we have a crew, and I I figured. Sorry, I forgot to mention this earlier, but I figured we would have had them kind of milling about the scene, taking photos, writing down notes, and basically documenting the entire thing anyway.
Everyone's trying to get all the information they can. We have the investigation squad out.
Yeah.
Perfect. I need 3 voice recordings.
All right. Finish what you're going to request, and then we will move forward with opening the box.
Yep. I need 3 voice recordings. As the killer, I'm going to say this is Charles Russo. I'm going to say this is my handiwork. And I'm also going to say these crimes are all connected and list out the crimes.
That is a fucked up thing to do, but I don't see why it wouldn't work.
All right. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right. So, you open the box. A ghostly presence fills the room as smoke wafts out of the box, faster and faster. A pair of luminous eyes can be seen in the fog, and a deep, booming voice says in a heavy French accent, Charles, you fool, now I shall have my revenge. So, Nathan, give me a synergy plus, let's see here, synergy plus stamina roll, please.
I end the
Okay.
Memoria immediately
Why?
because it's about to kill you.
This action is still going to go through, but you can do that immediately afterwards, yes. So still make your roll.
Oh man. I'm gonna be so sad if I
Roll
die here
power.
as the killer.
Oh,
The the ectoplasmic smoke around you uh, forms chains which dig deeply into your skin. Take one aggravated damage before the Memoria ends.
Ow.
Oh, good call.
So you got to look at that thing, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I know who it is.
Who is it?
It's the one who did the Da Vinci murders.
Uh,
$5.
yeah, that makes sense.
We obviously can't get any more information than that, but we do know one simple thing. They know who did this to them. He has a notebook of all of this magic that he clearly doesn't speak French. Where did he get this? Man in a box.
Yep.
That's my theory. It's just a theory. A kill theory. So I walk over to a corner and begin violently retching after looking at the horrifying, I'm assuming burns or whatever those chains have left behind on the flesh of my friend.
Yeah, definitely burns.
I'm so sorry. Oh God, I'm so sorry. I thought, oh no, oh God. I, this was only supposed to put me at risk. I'm sorry.
What do you mean? That's the first time I've gotten to be cool since I died.
I've got one last thing I have to do tonight. Is everybody cool to go onward? This is gonna be a lot worse, but everyone's gonna be safe.
Nathan nods and starts rumbling through his very large first aid kit for some burn cream.
I sit down and open up a notebook I brought myself, which has in shaking handwriting the name of every single victim, including myself, who died on the night in question. I read off the names as if reading down the pages of a phone book, one after another. I then read off at least a handful of descriptions of the deaths they were found in. I list the night in question. I
All right.
spend a willpower as I twist the key of silence so I can actually participate this. And I look at that camera, battered as it may be, and press that light into it from my throat. The scene begins again, covering this area and the grounds, giving us an
All right.
opportunity to see what we need to do as the entire evening plays out.
All right. So the initial murders from the beginning. From as the ectoplasm fills the warehouse again, conjuring a lot of the same imagery, but not all of it.
I've
There,
burned the last of my plasm in doing this.
so it will be time for you to get some ectoplasm. Yum yum, eat it up.
This is the coolest thing I'm going to get to do for this entire series. I get way less relevant after tonight, everyone. It's been a good run.
You were saying, Kenny?
You can see the chalked squares on the warehouse floor, but now there's nothing in it. Outside, you hear the engine of a school bus as it parks and is then turned off.
I pause the scene and walk outside.
The Memoria doesn't reach outside, so there's nothing out there.
I asked for the grounds as well.
Oh, the grounds?
Yes.
Okay. You see the school bus park. Do you truly wish to see for this to happen outside, though?
Valid. No. No. Inside the warehouse. I'm sorry. I'm dumb.
Because I was about to ask you to roll me a chance die.
No,
You're.
thank you.
I thought about it a second longer. No. Sorry. Inside the warehouse. Only inside the warehouse. Not outside. Inside.
So you hear the school bus park and the engine shut off. The exhibition killer, again in his raincoat and gas mask, brings one of your classmates in, unconscious and bound ankles and wrists in rope. He does this over and over again until all 30 of your classmates have been dragged inside and placed in your attendance squares. He then removes some chalk from one of his pockets and heads into the office. I'm assuming you're going to follow.
We are glued to this man all night.
He walks into the office. The office is similar to how it was before, with all the furniture pushed up to one side, but the magic circle has not yet been drawn. On the desk, there is the box that you had previously opened, now wrapped again in its silver chain, and some old damaged chain and winch setups that looks like it was salvaged from a old tow truck. The exhibition killer starts to work, creating the magic circle. As he does so, the box begins thumping from side to side, and you hear a muffled voice in a heavy French accent. Charles, let me out of here. If you do it now, I shall spare your life. Shut up, says Charles. I can feel what you're doing, Charles. You are perverting my cuisine. Stop it.
Right.
The killer stands up from the half-drawn magic circle and looks directly at the box. You can feel the anger emanating off of him, and as he says, your cuisine? Jacques, you are a fool without ambition. The magic you showed me has so much promise. You can change the world with it. And you use it for fishing? Charles, you are young. You have yet to eat nearly as many ghosts as I have. You don't understand the importance of having a supply of ghosts come to you. The ghost trap is most effective, and no one is going to miss ghosts from the underworld. Come, if you let me out of this box, I will show you. We can catch dozens. I can feel the set number of sacrifices you have out there. We could maybe even dredge up 100. 50 each. Think of the power that would give you. The exhibition killer clenches his fist. The chalk that's inside, you can hear it crunch. And when he opens his hands, there's nothing but dust. He removes another piece of chalk from his pocket and gets back to work on the magic circle. Jean, the difference between you and me is that you only think about yourself. I've eaten the dead too. That's my sin to bear. But what I do now, I do for everyone. What's a little sin? You're going to save the entire town. You are a madman, Charles. And you're nothing but a murderer, Jacques. The circle completed. The exhibition killer grabs the equipment and puts it down in the circle. He pulls out his notebook and begins reciting the words in French extremely clumsily that was written on the final ceremony. The circle begins to glow with the sickly blue light of the underworld. And at the crescendo of the piece, the edges of the circle freeze solid with ice that turns into a bluish ectoplasmic hue, as hard as stone. And then with his bare hands, he crunches the chain and winch into a ball and then tears and rips it to pieces, allowing bits and pieces of it to fall into the gate. With his bare hands, he grabs the cast-offs of the winch and the chain before they are sucked into the gate. And as he continues reciting in French, he stretches and molds the ectoplasm into a piece of machinery, a ghostly winch setup on a pole that goes across the gate with the chain going downwards. Then Charles picks up the box, grunts goodbye, and tosses it into the gate. This done, he heads back outside and brings a large chest, a large plastic and rubber chest full of tools within. He hauls out a bunch of other items from the bus: books, bronze ingots, a boiler, etc., as he begins his grisly work. You see the ghosts start to arrive. As the boiler is lit, you notice the old John Walker appear. The killer takes no notice, simply brushing aside any ghost who gets too close and walking through them as he goes about methodically, one murder after the other.
Can we carefully watch Sarah's death?
I'm watching them all, but I've made it clear that anyone can walk out, and I'm willing to call them back in when we're done.
I meant on screen. I wanted to see
When
if there was anything different that happened to her because she decided to become.
well, you wanted to watch the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm just going to go over the
Okay.
unexceptional parts. Uh, at some point, you notice Meathead arrive. Uh, the prom queen floats through the wall tentatively from the direction of the bus. More ghosts come about to watch. You get to Lenore's death as after she's crucified upside down, the killer slits her throat. At which point, several minutes later, you start to see the ectoplasm form around her as a ghost is created. Interestingly, it appears that her ghost is the first one to form. The prom queen floats over and begins to have a conversation with Lenore, or at least attempts to. Lenore seems to be, or at least her ghost seems to be having a panic attack. After the prom queen offers her the bargain, Lenore starts shrieking and runs directly out of the front door of the warehouse towards town.
I walk over to Moneybags and say, I want you to remember that person. We're going to be
I
having
can't
you.
hear you.
I walk over to Moneybag. I want you to remember that face, that ghost that just appeared there. We're going to be having you look for that person over the next few days.
Of course, sir, he responds.
Thank you.
Bear with me just a moment. I need to replace the battery in my headset.
So, fuck, guys. So I think that Jacques got used as the anchor that got mentioned.
So does that mean we can just dig under the tableau and pull him out and then
I,
unanchor it and pull it up?
the thing is, the winch drop occurs at the end of this, and that's what we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
What this potentially means is we could go to the sites of all these killings, and if we can find the winch, we can pull the chains back up and get rid of the tableaus. And while I don't know if that'll do anything, it certainly seems like it will upset the plans of Charles, and anything to upset him at this point seems valid.
Also, it would probably get us some brownie points with what's his fuck down south.
And we do
Guild
need to
skull.
exchange those for getting a certain person out of prison.
Yep.
All right, my battery has been changed out and I'm good to go.
Ah!
Indeed.
Ah!
Indeed. Okay.
So, Lenore died. What
Well,
next?
yeah.
So after that, he goes about his killings again until getting to Sarah. using various ropes and wooden poles. He positions her in such a way that looks like she's doing a cheer. Then he opens her mouth and starts stuffing her throat with handfuls of pills. At some point during the process, she comes awake, but she is unable to move because of the restraints and unable to make sound because of the medicines that he keeps stuffing into her mouth. He continues stuffing multiple bottles. Around the sixth bottle, her mouth and throat appears to be completely full and closed off. You can hear her struggle and choke as he then begins to take more pills and shove them into her nostrils to block her airway. Once her airway is thoroughly blocked, and he checks with a finger to make sure that no air is passing through mouth or nose, he moves on to the next murder. Sarah slowly suffocates to death over the course of about the next 10 minutes.
Christ Jesus.
You notice that while other ghosts are beginning to form, Sarah's ghost forms almost immediately. And when it forms, the tug of the underworld is evidently felt as she rushes through the wall and into the Avernian gate in the office. He then continues about the killings and starts to wait. He has a metal folding chair, and he goes through his notebook as he waits. He looks up every now and then to check how many ghosts are present of the kills. The ghosts are forming slowly, one by one. After an hour or so, he seems to get impatient and simply grabs all the ghosts that have formed so far, putting his hand around their spectral necks somehow and dragging them into the office with him. After he's dragged all 10 of the ghosts that have already formed into the office, you see him tap the side of his gas mask and check his notes. After reading for a while, he grabs the ghosts and begins pounding them into ectoplasm with his bare fists. Once the 10 wailing ghosts finally cease their cries of pain as they have been rendered into a fine ectoplasmic paste, he stretches and molds it into a disc the size of the gate. He checks several times to make sure it fits exactly over the gate before stretching a bit of it to attach to the chain. This being done, he lowers the chain into the underworld and closes the gate around it. The ghostly winch remains atop the ritual circle over the now closed Avernian gate. This done, he wipes his hands on his coat and his raincoat. He tries it a few times before getting evidently annoyed that the ectoplasm isn't coming off properly. and then he removes his get mask partially to lick it off with his tongue. He puts the gas mask back on and heaves a sigh of relief. Then he grabs the wench and starts to pull it taut. After a few minutes, it appears to be uh, as taut as it's going to get. You hear some cracking from the foundations. He looks up, evidently excited, and gives it a few more turns, forcing the wench past its natural endpoint. You hear some more cracking from the foundations of the building, but nothing else. He smacks one's fist into his hand and says, "Damn it! What went wrong? That was supposed to be 10 anchors. That should have been enough." He looks through his notes. I don't know. He puts the notebook to his forehead, gently tapping it against his skull a few times, saying over and over, "I don't know. Shouldn't have tossed Jock down. I asked him." He tries again at the wench before screaming in frustration. "Well, there's at least one. Now I just need more. I've got to do this again. Again. However many times. Eventually, though, it's going to work. And then everyone in town will know. I'll have done it. I'll have saved everybody. They'll be so happy." He starts chuckling to himself and leaves the room, cleaning things up, and then heading out of the warehouse.
Ty has been standing staring at a spot where one of the ghosts had been.
I can't hear you.
Ty had been standing staring at one of the spots a ghost had been. A young boy who he had feelings for just before things had gone on off. So much has happened in the last few months, this pain had almost left him. There'd been too much to think about. But watching his ghost being literally pulverized was an agony he wasn't prepared for this evening, despite having sat and watched every single one of the murders in detail in every gory outcome, including his own. But this seems to be the bit that had broken him. He stands up and he turns. All right. So, here's what we know. All right, first, Kenny, before I continue talking, we read a Geist 101 written by Screamer a while back.
Mm-hmm.
Did it mention the Eaters of the Dead? Do we know about those in character?
He did not mention them, no.
All right. Then here's what Ty knows. This man talked about eating ghosts from the underworld. He apparently picked this up from Jacques, who I believe was the person we identified as the killer in the Da Vinci murders. He's using his same technique, but for something else. The technique he seemed to have designed was fishing for ghosts in the underworld. This one is doing something else with the same idea. And he will keep doing it until he accomplishes whatever he's doing and he thinks it's a good idea. Additionally, this man is strong enough to crush metal with his bare hands and can see and identify and move ghosts. I understand that everyone is very upset about what they saw here tonight. Nobody is to do anything on their own. Any actions taken against this man are a whole group effort. I want everyone in this room to promise me that.
The mortals and the ghosts promise immediately. Moneybags, Gus, Lucerne, Mr. Ripley, and Myrtle.
Thank you. With that in mind, I am going to try one last thing. I don't know if it's a safe thing to do, so I'm going to ask everyone to give me their thoughts. I'm going to see if the winch is still there, and I'm going to see if we can release the pressure he put on it, and thus maybe remove the tableau from the underworld. If anyone thinks this is a bad idea, now's the time. It will at the very least almost certainly alert the killer that we're on his trail.
Well, hopefully soon a bullet's going to do that too, so I don't see the difference.
I'm not sure we can kill this thing with a bullet. I'm not sure I could punch it to death at this point. I'm not sure that Ethan at the height of his power could.
We'll figure it out.
Give me time. I will have an answer for you. But if anyone thinks this is a bad idea, speak now. Kenny, I would like to invoke common sense from the crowd.
Alrighty. You want to use the common sense merit?
Additionally, if anyone else has more common sense than I do, I would really appreciate them telling me to stop. But I am going to do it for myself.
So what do we stand to lose here?
I think, is this a very bad idea was mine.
All right,
Well, there's
roll
4
wits
questions.
Roll wits plus composure.
All right. 7 dice.
Can I also roll?
And you all have common sense.
I hope so.
Can I roll intelligence plus occult to mull over what we just saw to try and parse what he's trying to do?
Sure. Considering the nature of these ceremonies, though, I'm going to be imposing a -3 penalty.
3 successes.
All right. And as per the text, if you succeed, you get a question. With an exceptional success, you get an additional question. So 2 of you rolled. What questions you asking?
I believe one of them is straight up, is this a bad idea?
Mine was, what do I stand to lose here?
The 4 questions, Nathan got one, which is one of them. What do I stand to lose here? The other 3 are, what is the worst choice? What's the safest choice? And am I chasing a worthless lead?
What is the worst choice?
Nathan, answering your question, uh, God only knows what could happen if you meddle with the effects of some random ceremony that's been performed, especially one that seems to be this powerful. So when it comes to what do you stand to lose, uh, it's hard to say. Maybe your life, maybe the lives of everyone here. What is the worst choice? Well, the equipment was spectral in nature. You could commit ectophagia on it and eat it. Only God knows what would happen to you if you tried.
I think I'm gonna get some information from Mr. Tibbs.
My video is suddenly very blurry and I don't know why.
Hold your hand up in front of it and let it focus. Now pull back. Slowly.
Try- All right, now slowly pull it back. There you go. There we
There
go.
you go.
There, I am no longer censored.
All right, that's a good trick off. I remember that.
I
Anyway.
am too hot for Twitch.tv, apparently. All right. So, are you guys going back into the office?
I want to at least confirm whether the winch is still there. I feel like that's worth knowing.
All right. In real life, the office is locked, but Mr. Ripley did get the key for it. You head inside, and while the chalk circle has long since been cleaned up, the ectoplasmic winch that stands over the closed Avernian gate is still there. Its chain going through the floor, and you suspect all the way to the underworld.
I've got a project for you this week, dear Ethan.
Hmm.
I need you to go to the site where this happened in the underworld. I need you to make the biggest boneyard you've got, and I need you to look for the presence of a ghost inside a box named Jock.
Okay.
Because I suspect that man will have a lot of information for us, and I am willing to do just about anything I need to make him talk.
It's a ghost in a box.
Ghost in a box, girl.
So, what did I figure out from the ritual or about the ritual?
All right, let me see what you rolled.
2 successes. Sorry.
Right, 2 successes. Let's see. What were you trying to do? Just trying to get general information about it?
Trying to figure out what the end goal is. What this saving the town. What? Yeah. Trying to figure out what this individual instance really did, and seeing if I can extrapolate that out to multiple instances to figure out what the larger effect would be.
Okay, so you've seen the result in the underworld of this ceremony.
Right.
You've seen the ceremony performed, and you heard the killer and the ghost in the box discussing the purpose of it. The ghost in the box mentioned that there was a cage involved, but what you have seen, there was no cage. What there is an anchor that digs into the soil of the underworld, that is there so deeply when you tried to move it with your powers, you were not able to do so. The other two tableaux that were created in the underworld appear, as you remember having seen them, appear to likewise be anchored deep into the soil. The original purpose of this ceremony, from what you can glean from watching it and hearing the participants talk about it, was to dredge the underworld for ghosts. The altered ceremony appears to have the purpose of creating an anchor in space between the mortal world and underworld. For what purpose, you have no idea, but you can say with certainty that wherever the winch appears and when it drops the anchored tableau into the underworld, it creates a physical connection.
Oh God.
You have no idea why someone would need to create multiple physical connections between the underworld and the mortal world, especially when if you want to travel there, Avernian gates are not hard to find in Whispering Peaks, and part of the ceremony involves creating one. It must have some other purpose.
He's trying to pull the damn thing up. He's trying to pull the goddamn underworld up. Remember, he kept tugging and this end was giving, but he wasn't able to pull it any further. He thought he had 10 anchors. He thought he had a firm enough grip to pull it further.
The
He's
fuck would he be doing that?
I don't know.
I think we need to
Going
learn a
through
lot more about
standard
Charles
Madman
Russo.
plans number 604, I think that he thinks he's going to end death or something like that. But, like, I'm fishing here wildly. So, like, we've got nothing. Take that with the largest grain of salt you can find. Take it with that rock salt crystal they have down over at the Physical Science Museum.
Question, Kenny. Tibbs and I made a map of the tunnels,
Mhm.
and Tibbs made an app with places in the real world versus places in the underworld. Um, how does this tableau coincide with any of those tunnels below?
They don't seem to meaningfully coincide with the tunnels underneath the uh, Purgatory Junction. You do note that the tableaus are placed in such a way that they are near the edges of Purgatory Junction on the little island that it sits on.
Okay. And if we were to use those 3 points, would Purgatory Junction be perfectly in the middle of those 3 points?
No, the points that you're looking at would be more like forming a shape like this.
Okay.
like an arc. So
Yes.
so he's still trying to create more.
Grip points.
Okay. And when if he were to say pull Purgatory Junction up to the physical world, where would that collide?
One thing that you've learned from your app is that space in the underworld is not the same as space in the mortal world.
Hmm.
The underworld appears to be roughly 10 times smaller. 10 feet traveled in the mortal world. 10 feet traveled in the 10 feet. I am tripping over my tongue here.
One foot
If
in the underworld is 10 feet up here.
yes,
Okay.
Fast travel technique unlocked.
Yeah.
All you Minecraft kids probably recognize this technique. Okay, straightforward, stupid question. Is the distance between the murders on the map, since we know where all three tableaus are they about the same distance apart, or is it just kind of, some way along the arc?
Between the 3 points that you have, they do not appear to be perfectly equidistant. They do seem to be roughly.
Hey guys, we know two places we need to start watching.
Okay.
All right. Um, I don't think we can get anything else from here tonight.
Yeah.
So let's wrap up and summarize our findings, and then go to commercial. Wrap up the evening and do our aspirations. We know who did it.
All right.
We have no idea why he precisely is doing it, but we have an idea it is for a purpose. We know it is involved with the Da Vinci murders because the person who taught him how to do this, whether they wanted to or not, was the guy who did the Da Vinci murders, who is dead now. That person was, at the very least, last time they were seen, chained up in silver chains in a box that they could presumably not escape, and thus likely ghosts cannot open, that got dropped out of the hole before this whole plateau shit happened, and was not apparently involved in the whole mystical ritual bullshit. So worst case scenario, it's buried underneath the end of that chain. Lastly, all 10 of the ghosts that are dancing around there are destroyed, and none of them can ever be recovered. They were pulped and turned into a tool. Those are the things we know. And we don't know how many times it will take for him to do this until his goal is achieved. I'd like to walk into the office and see if the winch is still physically in the room.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, the winch is physically there. It is a ghost. It is a cast off and thus spectral, but it is there.
All right. With that, I thank everyone for coming. I walk out to the front and noisily vomit outside the door.
Alrighty, so let's end there. So first off, you guys get a piece of equipment and a clue. You've got the incriminating recordings as a piece of equipment. I'll put more about them later. Because we have established that you can absolutely record the results of the memoria. And you also have the clue for the first exhibition killing. While you have nominally solved the mystery of the identity of the exhibition killer, you still don't know what he's doing and why. When you get 10 clues, it will be revealed, unless you reveal it yourself beforehand.
All right. I would like to argue a second clue in the form of the entire text of the notebook he was, using at the scene of the murder.
That is also a good point. So you got the exhibition killer ceremonies, and I'll let that be a 3-dot clue. Everyone, I'm going to give 3 points of experience. And let's do our aspirations, everyone.
All right, I guess I'll go first. I
Mhm.
think we step and clear, find clues about the killer.
True. Yep.
I did not take any actions today to get to know Josie. Um,
You got
we
to
did take a what?
you got to see their interaction with Lenore.
Oh, that's true. I did. Does that count?
Sure. Makes sense to me.
Cool. We definitely took a step towards rescuing my grandpa's ghost by making the app and the map.
Hmm.
Um, I took a step in a clear, hopefully, towards making a new friend with Delilah.
Yep.
Excellent. And I have not eaten any nuts, so that's me.
Okay.
Uh, all right. Mind if I go next?
Go for it.
Get scouted for college hockey. I have performed well in a game, giving me a brand new shiny record of still being successful in my senior year of hockey.
Yep.
Find the son of a bitch who took everything from me. Step and clear, burden aspiration.
Yep.
Nice.
Sounds good to me.
Put on the show of a death time. Clear.
Yep.
Do not actually die. Clear.
Yeah, you managed not to die from it.
Make a connection. We hopefully have made it so that Delilah wants to work with us directly. An asset who will probably help us get through a number of problems between here and the end.
Makes sense.
With that, I have just gained possibly the most ridiculous amount of XP I will ever gain in one session.
How much XP was that?
Well, that was 10 end steps before tonight, which makes it 11, so I'll be getting 1 from taking the step, 11 from clearing it, and then 3 additional from my other stuff, plus 3 XP.
So
So
6
I'm
XP.
up, um, I'm just short of 6 XP, yeah, from tonight alone.
Nice.
Wait, no, you're
No?
right. I forgot Scout for college hockey. That's 4 plus 11 plus 1, so just over 6 XP.
Nice.
Congrats.
And then the 2 from 2 conditions clearing. 3.
All right.
Okay.
And yep.
Okay. Get out of Whispering Peaks. I'd like to step that.
Yep.
I don't believe I worked on my speed run this time around.
You did
Um,
make a map of the underworld, showing that you made a map of the underworld and also figured out by using that map that the underworld has a space ratio with the mortal world of 10 to 1.
okay.
I
Okay.
honestly think that you have just done some incredible speedrun routing.
Fair enough. Um, get old man Houlihan to join the crew. I spent a downtime hanging out with him. And who wrote the Necronauticon? Um, we we had our crew do some research on figuring these nuts out. So,
Yep.
and that's me.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming today. I hope you had a lot of fun. And with if nothing prevents it, we'll be here again in 2 weeks. Have a
Yay.
good night.